Hey, what's good, everybody? You know who it is. You know what it is. It's another live session with the Hype Magazine, and it's just me, just a guy, Dr. Jerry Dobie. But I got the pleasure of having this young dynamo, Monique Nikkole, on the line with me today. I met her first in New York, at the Penthouse during the DigiWax New Music Mondays or Wednesdays, whatever day. I'm old. I can't remember the day of the week, but I know that her presence was felt throughout the room. Um, might have something to do with her background, but look, from the precinct to platinum tracks, our guest, Monique Nikkole, embodies like the truest definition of a career transition. She's a force of nature, a Grammy nominated singer, songwriter, a proud Brooklyn native. For 24 years, she served her community with dedication, rising to the rank of detective sergeant in the Nassau County Police Department. Now she's trading her badge for the microphone, channeling her deep sense of service into powerful, purposeful, driven artistry as well. She's business minded. She's the co-founder of Coco Press or Coco Tunes Publishing Inc. and the Queen of Hustle lifestyle brand. Monique is on a mission to empower others through music, business, and fitness. Following the success of her acclaimed anthem, Queen of the Hustle, she returned with a soulful and energetic reimagining of a classic, We Are One, unplugged though. Today, we dig into the remarkable journey of this woman who proves that it's never too late to pivot to your purpose. Monique Nikkole, what up, though?
Dr. Jerry, hi.
Yeah. So pleased to be with you, man. As I mentioned earlier, folks, I met um, Monique Nikkole, the DigiWax function in New York, and just an amazing, amazing presence. We get a chance to talk to her. Look, from the inside looking out, we go to start with this one because I usually hit everybody with this. From the inside looking out, tell me how you see the artist, Monique Nikkole.
Wow. I have a lot of layers just like as a person and artist. And I see myself as a enigma, so to speak,
Mm,
because I like hip hop, I like soul, I like R&B, I like gospel. My fashion sense, it just depends on what day or what time I wake up. It
right.
could be, it could be pretty eccentric at times. But the core of me, um, is R&B. Like that's my heart and my soul and the core of me. And but it straddles as an artist, I straddle other genres because I grew up in such a melting pot in Brooklyn, and having my dad's influence and my mom's influence in music, and my dad sang professionally. So
Okay.
I'm kind of like a mixed bag, so to speak, as an artist.
It didn't, the talent didn't fall far from the tree. You had diverse experiences, amazing experiences. Um, I grew up in a musical household too. My mother was a concert pianist. Uh,
Mm.
I was thrown the opportunity to play clarinet. I'm 62 years old. We can imagine in that era what I looked like with a clarinet and the reception in grade school. It was horrible. I was
Oh,
bullied. I was bullied, I gotta say. But look, you made a mad pivot after 24 years in law enforcement. Was there a definitive moment or core motivation that made you decide to leave a secure, high-ranking career and fully commit to the stage and the arts?
yes. Probably as you know, and some may know, may not know. Um, I had been working my music career and my law enforcement career simultaneously, but in more of a supportive role as a manager and a label owner, studio owner, concert promoter, like a lot of stuff that was going on behind the scenes.
Mm,
But 2015, I dropped my first single and I started to kind of temper what I was doing as far as an artist. But in 2021, when I retired, I actually released my single "Red Bottoms and Lingerie," which was my first contemporary R&B song, and that was featuring Lil Flip.
okay.
And at the time, I was feeling ready to make that transition fully to just being in music full time
Right.
and my other entrepreneurial things that I have going on as well.
Mm,
But that kind of took center stage for me because the record was doing so well at radio and things were getting a little bit more demanding for me. Um, and it just was things just align and you kind of know when it's time.
right. Right. Right.
And 24 years was enough. Um, as far as the math is concerned, because I'm big on like financial planning, the math was mathing.
Mhm.
And I'm like, all right, I've secured my future, my family's future. No matter what happens, I always have my pension. I have other things locked in. Let's give it a go.
Okay.
And that was the big pivot for me at that
Okay.
time.
That makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Sometimes you got to just evaluate. And being a detective, obviously, you're analytical and what doesn't belong in what's missing from this picture. And you said, my freedom.
Yes,
Time to go. Time
yes,
to
yes.
go.
And it was so many things that were going on, like within law enforcement at the time, and
Mhm.
having to be in a position of supervision and be responsible for staff and um they were going through police reform at the time, and now you wanted me to babysit detectives and go with them everywhere, and then the liability still lies in the county. If something happens, it's still on me while I'm
Right.
in New York City doing an extradition or whatever it was, and it just wasn't worth the risk to me anymore.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense to me. Um,
Hmm.
okay. So law versus lyrical. How has the discipline, and we just got a little piece of your investigative mind or your sense of public service you developed as a detective sergeant, how has that informed your approach to the music industry, the songwriting, and the entrepreneurship? Because you've seen things from, you know, multiple avenues.
Yes. Well, it teaches you to think outside of the box because I see a side of society. I've seen a side of society that probably most don't,
Right.
right? That does sharpen your skills as far as your writing and being empathetic and understanding the layers of society.
Hmm.
Um cause and effect. Watching generational um incarceration, where it's just a lot. And that does help to develop you as an artist, believe it or not, and a writer
Hmm.
because you have a better understanding of people. And most times when you're songwriting, what are we writing about? People, um, situations that are known to us, right? But it just
Hmm.
gives a little deeper understanding
Hmm.
of how people work and how their minds work and how pieces come together, so
Hmm.
to speak. Yeah.
You know, it's got to be fun going into a business from the, finally learning the actual business aspect and watching the trickeration and fluckery. You feel me?
Yeah.
And you, as a detective, you got all these vivid motion pictures going through your head, and solution. I'm going, how distracting could that skill set be as make your foray into this business?
It's it could be good and it could be bad
Mm-hmm.
because and not even just with the training and the discipline that helps to kind of course sharpen your skills and your people skills and your instincts also.
Right.
But the other part of it, I feel like, and I'm like into the zodiac, I'm a Virgo, so
Mm.
um I feel things anyway when I come in a room, and then as you get older, you get learn how to understand what you're feeling. So it's good and it's bad. Like I would say, oh my God, I hate myself
Mm.
sometimes because as soon as I walk in a room and it's off, I'm leaving.
That
There's
part.
nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
I
Time to
can't
go.
do this with you because I feel what the vibe is already. So I'm not even gonna waste my time. I'm not gonna waste your time.
Right.
And in an industry that is so superficial and it can't really tolerate sometimes when people are realist. So, it's good and it's bad at the
Oh
same,
God.
you
Oh.
know, depending on what day it is, I might just let you most times if it's not toxic, I'm gonna let you finish what you have to say. I'm always respectful and and then I'm gonna go on about my day. But in the back of my mind, I already know it's BS, which is good. That helps to protect me and my businesses,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, from getting taken. And I've been taken.
Mm.
I've lost money. I've been taken advantage of long, back in the day. So between that knowledge and the discipline and building a skill set over the years and trusting your intuition that we tend not to do when we're younger.
That part.
Yeah. So, kind of coming into your own, you kind of understand like, I felt this before, but I didn't realize what I was feeling, but I know what it is now.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think that it's helped me more than it has harmed me, especially in present day.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that as an advantage. All right, let's talk about the music. The anthem, Queen of the Hustle, was called the new woman's anthem. What does being a queen of the hustle mean to you personally? And what message were you most determined to embed in that track?
That we could do anything that we put our minds to. Um, it was it was a multi-layered track, and it started out as just being that girl. You know, women are different nowadays than they were like when our parents were growing up, and mom was more home, or
Right, right,
you
right,
know, and times have shifted to where you have two income households, or you have a single mom that's pulling it on her own,
right.
working nights, days, queen of the hustle, trying to keep everything afloat. So it was kind of like just letting the ladies know that I see you and you're heard. Then you had the midterm elections a few years ago
All right.
where they voted down Roe versus Wade. So then the lyrics started to change, and I felt I needed to address that. Um, that here we are in the United States, and now a bunch of men in high places want to take control over women's bodies at this point in time. Whereas that legislation was voted in 1973. So here we are back to 1973 at this point. Like, where are we going? So I felt a responsibility to reflect that in my art. And the other thing is, like, we're in the middle of a civil rights movement, right? But then where's the soundtrack for it?
Mm,
You know, I don't hear enough about what's going on in music. And I think that that also was my responsibility to say what I needed to say on it.
okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it represents a lot. I know I said a mouthful, but I tell you, if that record could have been like 10 minutes long, it would have been, because cutting down the lyrics, I mean, I had pages and pages and pages, um and Marco Rich, we were in the studio and he was like, you know you can't use, I know. We happened to just condense everything to where I could kind of touch upon different topics that I felt that was important for our queens out there, our queens of the hustle that's out there holding it down, regardless.
Regardless. Roger
Yeah.
that. Okay. Now, the Grammy consideration is for We Are One. No.
No, I just dropped that.
Okay.
The Grammy consideration for this year was for Vergara Street. And
Okay.
I actually did a rock blues record on that on that project. Yes,
Wow.
I did. And that's what was up for Grammy consideration.
Okay.
That's part of my, you know, I sing a lot of different genres. So um
I love it,
I had
sir.
got the Grammy nomination on a blues project last year
Okay.
that I collaborated on with Antonio Vergara.
Okay.
So he came back to me for this new album and we collaborated again.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that one got the consideration. We didn't get the nomination this year though for 2026.
But last year you came out of first round, got the nomination,
Yep.
and this year you got considered again, though, but still.
Yes, yes. I mean, I was disappointed, of course. I would have loved another Grammy nomination, but um just to be considered and just to be challenged,
Mhm.
good things come out of the spirit of collaboration. And I'm just happy that, you know, artists in other genres want to tap in and collaborate with me, which is really cool. So I'm just thankful for the opportunity. And I love to stretch, you know, my artistry. So it's pretty cool. I don't know. I might have to take them up on releasing that as a single on my own project. Because we're discussing that now.
That look, I'll just say certain genres pay, certain markets pay. Others, feel
I
me?
know.
That
You know,
crossover is the business right there. Now,
yes.
speaking of stretch, though, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
I was just gonna say that, and I know what you're alluding to as far as R&B.
Mhm.
R&B, that genre is so crowded. Like by, I am an R&B artist if you're gonna classify me, right? But it's so crowded there. It's so the politics
Hmm.
with that when you're talking about getting these trophies, which I don't believe defines you. It's nice, yes, but the chances of that happening within my own genre is such an uphill battle.
Right.
Because it's, well, let's leave it there. I don't want to go too deep.
Yeah,
You
you
know
know,
exactly where I'm
I
going.
know where you're going, but let's
I'm
just
gonna
say
leave
that you're part of the cream that has risen to the top.
it.
You
Thank
know, it definitely makes it more competitive, but when you're undeniable, you're going to get the nods. Whether you get the trophy, getting the nod and being put in the system, that says something in and of itself, in my opinion, as a person who doesn't make music. You know what I mean?
thank you.
So, mm,
Yeah,
okay.
so
I'm sorry. Okay.
That's pretty much it. So yeah, you might hear some other uh music coming
Okay.
outside of the R&B
Okay.
realm from me.
All right. So speaking of stretching your wings, um, as an artist, covering you covered classic. Your new track, We Are One, Unplugged, is a soulful reimagining of a Frankie Beverly classic. Um, First, what drew you to this specific song,
Yes.
and how did you approach infusing it with New Orleans bounce and live band energy while respecting the original?
You know, my now business manager, my CPA, is from NOLA.
Okay. Okay.
And we did this record, believe it or not, Jerry, about 2022, 2023. And I just had it in the can.
Mm,
And it was his suggestion. He's like, you need to do We All One. Oh, you think so? I'm like, all right, let's do it. He's like, do it Nola Bounce. You know,
mm.
like, all right. So Black and Mild, which is a producer that lives in New Orleans, we got together and we did the record. So it really was a suggestion from my team, one of my team members. And it morphed once I was in the booth because that whole dance and chant at the end was off the top of the dome. So, now it's funny, like line dancing is big now, but when I did the record in 2023, it was kind of just, something that I felt in the booth. I felt like I was on stage doing whatever I was doing. I was having a really good time.
Okay. Okay.
It is kind of reflective in the track. Um, and that's pretty much the story behind that. And originally, Black and Mild had put a lot of samples on there. So, and I get it. Like he works with Beyonce and like people that are signed to these huge labels that have huge budgets that can go and get these things cleared and pay whoever needs to be paid. But me here, Coco Tunes Publishing slash music, that's going to be an issue for me.
Right. Right. Right.
So what I did was I pulled in one of the producers I work with pretty often, which is J Hot Scott. If you don't know him, Google him. He's phenomenal. He came up under Teddy Riley, and he does a lot for Keith Sweating a lot of people. Just whatever. He's just great.
Hmm.
So I had him replay everything on there. He's doing voice box on there, and it just the two producers and then me, and it just kind of came together so nicely. And that was the birth of the song "We All Won."
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you have described your music as like purpose driven. This question is getting ready to be so loaded, but I don't want you to feel under pressure to, get too deep. Can you share, or do you want to share,
Mm-hmm.
um, an example of a specific life experience or challenge that you turned into a song to help or empower others? Because I've heard your frustration from the professional side of law enforcement, and then, you know, again, professional frustration navigating the maze that is the music industry or the
Mm-hmm.
business of music. You know what I mean? Um, so, we don't have to get crazy with it, but talk to me if you can about one of those experiences that just help shape the flow.
Wow. It's so many. I'm gonna go to like the most recent, and I feel like the Queen of the Hustle for me. It was
Mm.
that record for me where that pulled. at my heartstrings because of what was going on
Mm-hmm.
around me,
Mm-hmm.
as a woman, that who is now under attack
Mm-hmm.
in the land of the free. So the free. Um, I think that for me, that would be the moment. I think that I would look at and understanding that I have a daughter that this new legislation
Mm-hmm.
will affect. But not only her, I have a son
Mm-hmm.
that's in college. It affects the men too. So, yeah, I would think that my own personal concerns, be it fears, be it experiences, um, are definitely reflective in my music. I really think that that record would be the one that I would look at the most. Now, as far as like personal relationships through the years, and my love music,
Mm-hmm.
like there's a one on my EP that's like praising a man for being a man and praising a man for showing up and being everything and fighting for me,
Mm-hmm.
and there's not enough of those records to me nowadays about just talking about just love and having that personal experience, with being loved. And that's the motivation behind the pen,
Mm-hmm.
because if you, it's something to experience at some point in your life. I hope that everyone, male or female, could have a feeling that they have for a mate or whoever you're dating or relationship, that somebody's really willing to fight for you.
Mm-hmm.
you know um that's big. So that's big because a lot of times people could just be out for themselves. So to have that and
Mm-hmm.
experience somebody that's selfless, um yeah, that's reflective in one of my songs called Baby It's You, which you guys don't know because it's on my EP. So you just kind of got a preview.
You know, Monique Nikkole, you got to look, just keep up with her. I keep up with her as much as I can on Instagram. It's always something interesting, something you like, what happened now? What's going on next? You know, it's real, raw, uncut. There's some polished stuff in there too, the advertorial marketing stuff, but the real Monique Nikkole shows up. Um, and I only have it to compare with the one day that we met, the one day event that we were at, and my observations from a professional level. But just as a journalist, I'm going, I got to talk to her eventually, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that we were able to connect because I was actually thinking about you and I'm going to hit you in the DM when your handler says, "Hey," I'm like, Psh, "You don't even understand your timing." Because I was just thinking about, whoop, and this is where I met her, and this is what I want. And she says, "Oh, okay." And she had that thing scheduled, sent the link, and she scheduled it, right away. So I'm really excited and happy to get this bucket list item off
Yeah.
today. Yeah, on a dreary, what is today? Tuesday, November the 18th. It's cloudy and anyway. Look, multiple faceted, multifaceted. I just bastardized the word. I really just did. I can't
It
believe that.
works.
It
It works.
worked. It worked. But, you know, entrepreneur, singer-songwriter, publishing house owner, lifestyle brand, Queen of the Hustle lifestyle brand. She just really just explained to what she meant by Queen of the Hustle as the joint, but now she's made it into whole brand. So how does it connect with and amplify the message of your music beyond the recording studio?
Um, as far as everything that I do, is that the question?
Well, yeah,
Um,
everything beyond the music, beyond the recording studio, as you're walking the beat again, so to speak. Ah, walking, so to speak. I didn't mean to insult you, detective. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
um, yeah, I think that that everything that I do with purpose pretty much amplifies, one helps the other,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. Whereas the discipline that I gained on the job in a paramilitary setting
Mm-hmm.
helps me navigate the real estate investing and balancing, the tenants and
Mm-hmm.
that side of things. It helps you to get up and get cracking and make sure that your back end is together as far as all the publishing legs and all of the other things that have to be checked off and managed and watched. Um, yeah, I think that one does connect to the other. Now, as far as my fitness brand, that all comes from discipline as well.
Right, right, right.
And being able to lose 40 pounds on my own and um find a way to navigate that weight loss and my family and my career and the music and the entrepreneurship. Because a lot of times if you don't have discipline you can't stick to a workout schedule
That part.
or anything else really, because you need discipline in order to walk that walk,
Right,
right?
right, right.
So and then be able to then write a book or journal about it, being able to now assist others on how I did what I did. So yeah, um, I think that's the best way that I can answer that
I
question.
love it. I love it. She's so cool. She's so cool. So well considered, you know? I promise you this is not a I like the fact that we're just basically having a conversation instead of it being like an interview. Like, ugh, how dreary that'd be on a dreary day, just to have a dull ass conversation. Like,
No,
anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. I, I'm liable to pull any kind of shenanigans on camera. I really don't have a filter, um, but I
that's all
like
right.
I like and admire the way you handle it. I'm not trying to put you in no trick bags. We talked about, and I'm like really excited because, you know, back to back Grammy considerations, and then one moving to a nomination. That's just a huge statement, you know, because first of all, I know there's some politics involved, but still, the Grammy organization is the only peer reviewed, peer voting platform. You know, so to get past first round to actual nomination round, that's huge. And then to come back again and they go, yeah, this should be considered. You know what I mean? And this should be on our radar. This artist is putting in the work. What is that moment of recognition when you get, you know, that postcard or the email from your Grammy account saying that, you know, you're in the running? And how does it influence your goals for future projects?
It is surreal
Mm,
because the nomination part was for me more so
mm,
because I've been a voting member probably I don't know about 6 years,
okay.
active voting member. So not to poo poo a consideration because that is a big deal,
Mm-hmm,
and I've had a few
mm-hmm,
on the R&B side as well.
mm-hmm,
But when when that nomination comes down, that's a whole different level of being acknowledged within the industry that you love and hate at the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, if being being recognized for your God-given talents and your hard work and being able to cut through an industry that is not easy to navigate, and to get to that point with a Grammy nomination, and the Grammy Awards is like the Super Bowl. It is the Super Bowl of music.
Mhm.
And overjoyed, shocked,
Mm.
because I did the feature. I did it. It was kind of like set it and forget it. And you know how you just off to the next, you're off to the next, you're off to the next, and you don't really take the moment to just stop and smell the roses. I never do, but I'm learning that I need to. And that moment made me pause. That made me pause because I was like, I didn't watch the nominations come down because I didn't. I hate to say this, and it's not. I wasn't being negative. I just didn't see it coming,
Mm.
and I think it made it even more sweeter because the way I found out was on social media before I got an email
Mm.
that, oh, I got the nomination, which is just wild. But it was a moment. Like, it was really like a big moment that also gave me the motivation to keep going, because and that's one of the things that I want to leave readers, listeners, viewers with, because this ain't for the weak.
Mm.
This ain't for the weak. You
Mhm.
are not going to make it if you can't keep your head and your heart and everything in alignment, because it will eat you alive. And I know I've had days where every so often I'm like, yo, I'm done. You just get there like, what
Right.
am I doing this for? I'm spending all this money. Everyone that's supporting you is the ones that's on payroll, and you trying to make this thing happen. But when you hit that moment and you pause and you get a nomination, it kind of almost, I don't want to say validate you because I don't need validation.
Mm.
But in that moment, you kind of say, well, damn, go on. I probably should just keep going because, you know, kid, maybe you got something. You know
Okay.
what I'm
It energizes you. I
saying?
got you.
Yeah, it puts that battery back in your back, because you get this thing will wear you out.
Mhm. Mm.
Just being completely vulnerable and honest. It is
Mm.
not all sweet. It's not the stuff that you just see out there because that's the finished product. It's all the roots that grew up underneath this ground here that they don't see. You know what I'm saying? But they see the nomination, or they see all the other stuff. So it kind of almost makes it feel like I didn't work in vain. And sometimes you feel like you are.
Mm. As with any business owner, regardless
Yes.
of what the industry or niche you from fashion to being a mechanic, owning your own garage, you know what I mean? It's the struggles are real.
Real.
The reality checks. You go, oh, that's how it goes. You know what I mean? That's real stuff. So each one of those is, lessons. You have lessons to be learned. And speaking of which, and I always am curious, when it comes to the business side of the music industry of the music, what's one of the biggest lessons or several of the biggest lessons you've learned um, on the business side of the music industry as, the founder of Coco Tunes Publishing, especially as an independent artist and publisher?
The biggest lesson is to always have your business in order,
Mm.
because we as creatives, that part's fun. The other side ain't too fun.
Mm. Mm.
And being really honest and transparent, which I am, I spend more time on the business side
Mhm.
than I am being creative. I don't like that, but it's necessary. You have, it's just one of those things that if you don't have your back end right, your front end ain't right. You can't have one without the other. You can't be out there cheesing and performing and then your situation behind you ain't right.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I mean, I spend countless hours um working, and I'm on ASCAP, I'm on this, I'm on sound, I'm here, I'm there, I'm checking this system, I'm checking that system, I'm doing that. Um, you know, trying to file my invoices, and it's just a lot. It's a lot that goes into running the back end of your music. So yeah, I mean, one of the things I learned is that you got to be organized. You got to be organized. You have to have the discipline, of course, when you're working for yourself, because nobody's going to tell you you got to be here at this time or that time, or you got to know that you got to show up,
Yeah, yeah,
right? You got to show up for yourself because nobody else is going to do it for you.
right.
So you have to be a self-starter. That's one of the things that I had to learn. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you can't lay there and it's not gonna come, it's just not gonna come to you. You gotta
No,
put
you got to
work
move.
clothes on your dreams, get on the job site and build your foundation in your house.
You got to be there with
Yeah,
boots on the ground,
yeah,
hands in the soil. You got to cultivate it, I mean, your foundation is everything.
right. Yeah,
At the end of the day, yeah.
yeah. And understand butter squash don't grow overnight.
No.
Nice and nutritious and filling, but you gotta have the patience to plant the seed, water, cultivate, as Monique said, and watch it grow and protect it and nurture it and learn everything that you need to make that plant grow. What does my soil need to be? What's the pH
Mhm.
balance? So I really like the fact that, as a multifaceted entrepreneur, you got in there and learned the nuts and bolts of all of your industries. You suffered and cost yourself money from not knowing and jumping into things and stuff like that. Um, but lessons learned, and now, you probably more considered. You're gonna take that extra beat and not respond, and the emotions are there. Like, yeah, I'm elated you want to offer me, but I'm gonna check this out before, I let you see me smile too widely. And
That's right.
I love it. Speaking of smiles, every time I talk to someone from Brooklyn, like the spirit just energizes me for the day. I would like to know, you know, how much of your identity and your drive do you attribute to growing up in Brooklyn? And I have to ask this with the caveat to say that I don't know where Nassau County is, but that's another, experience probably of a side of New York. So how does that combination of knowledge and experiences, how does that influence the authenticity you bring to your work? Because it can get real.
Definitely. I mean, I still view myself as that little kid from Brooklyn. Like, I still feel like I am she.
Mm,
And growing up in Brooklyn has given me the street smarts, culture, because where I grew up, initially was primarily Hasidic Jews.
mm,
And we were like the third Black family in Canarsie, East Flatbush. We were right on the cusp. And so I got to identify with that culture. I learned about it early on, and it was a melting pot. Like, my mom's side of the family's from Barbados, my neighbors from Trinidad,
mm,
one's from Grenada, and Jamaica, and I mean, you had everything in Brooklyn. So I think that I'm such a mix um bag, as I say a lot, and I attribute my artistry to it's so colorful because my background is colorful, and I think that I I got a taste of what true reality is, taking the trains and going to school and getting robbed on a train and knowing how to protect myself. Um, I don't, I'm,
That
I,
ain't funny, but I'm just like,
yeah, but I've been through
yeah.
some things. I've been carjacked, um, but being able to also defend myself and have that grit also.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that Brooklyn thing is something that's going to be with me for the rest of my life, whether it's in my business, as an entrepreneur, or whether it's in my music.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the parallel, when I got older, I had moved to Nassau County. I worked for Nassau County for 24 years. So now you're in Long Island,
Mm-hmm.
which is the suburb of, New York,
Mm-hmm.
outside of Queens, and then you cross over, you got Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
Different experiences, you know, getting on a job like Nassau County PD. If you want to compare the two, New York, New York's police department had 28,000 cops.
Mm.
Nassau had 3,000.
3,000?
3,000 on a good year.
Okay.
Okay. So, and the makeup was predominantly white.
Mm.
So now you go from Brooklyn, growing up in a Jewish neighborhood that it transitioned to a mostly Black Caribbean neighborhood, right? But I went to high school that was mixed.
Okay.
My mom didn't allow me to go to the neighborhood high school because she wanted me to be um she wanted me to be around everybody, which was one of the best things that I think that she did for me, because when I had to make the transition to Nassau County, I was okay with being the only one
Mm.
in the room.
Mm.
And then the experience of being a female boss, I was only number 6 in history to make my rank.
Mm.
There's ones that kept climbing that made chief, like first Black female chief and stuff like that. That wasn't my desire. My desire was to retire and build my own. But just to give you like a reference point, when you leave in Brooklyn, and now this little girl from Brooklyn, and I was young because I retired young. I mean, I was young when I went on the job, and having to assimilate, um, your mindset had to mature quickly, and you had to be able to navigate these things. But because my mom bust me out, so to speak, I was able to fit and make it work, but also didn't lose myself, because any of them that would try me got it.
Right. 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 Right.
I didn't play with them. It was very much like a good old boys club,
Right.
white males, not racist or anything, but it was just different. I'm young,
Mm.
my 20s.
Right.
Oh, and I'm coming in there. I got the same job as you got. You don't want me there. I took some other guy's job, another good old boy's job. So now you have that adversity. So all of that it just builds you up as a person. But if I didn't have that grit in Brooklyn, it might have been a little more difficult for me.
Mm.
Like, I had no problem putting them
Mm.
in their place.
Yeah. Say, my mouth ain't on backwards. Try me. Come on.
Try me with a smile.
With a smile. That's right. Hey.
So I never had no problems. You try me once, And then next day I'll be like, good afternoon.
Mm.
No grudges, because we still got to back each other up out there, but don't play with me.
Right, right.
So yeah, I think that all of those things, especially my early days in Brooklyn, um yeah, they were special, and I think that they had a lot to do with how I navigated there and now.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've navigated several types of mazes and, and exited triumphantly, having seen the light and moved forward. You continue to move forward. You've exhibited intestinal fortitude and leadership, first and foremost, to be a female leading, a portion of a department or a unit, within one of the biggest law enforcement organizations in the world, especially in the country, as a collective, you know, um, very amazing to complete 24 years despite and in spite of the organic challenges that come with being not only female, but black, in a white male dominated, industry of law enforcement. It speaks volumes, and it's no wonder, that were honored with the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award for your successful career transition and the contributions that you've made to the community. It's a prestigious award. What's the next big goal, professionally or personally, that you're currently hustling towards?
My next big goal. I mean, right now, honestly, I'd like to I'd like to get another big record.
Mm,
I'd like to be on a major tour.
mm,
That right there would be the cherry on top for me.
mm,
Yeah, landing a major tour. I mean, it doesn't sound that big, I guess.
mm,
But like for me, like professionally, as far as music is concerned, that would be great. That would be great. As far as like my other ventures, I just want to just keep building out. I understand that like building a real estate portfolio and things of that such is something that takes time and patience, you know.
right,
Um,
right.
and I want to continue to just keep building that out until I could just just go sit in the south of France for like for a few months and just finally just be. I want to get to that point. My ultimate goal, okay, here it is. Um, I don't have to be out here doing what I'm doing. I want to, but just knowing that you could actually just walk away from everything and just have everything just working and everything automated, that would be a great goal to have.
Mm.
To kind of
Did,
let go of the steering wheel a little bit.
did y'all hear that laugh? That was musical. That was somebody who's really internally freaking happy with the power they have over their lives. But to get there, she had to realize that she had the power and not let somebody else put you in a position where you're blaming them for your unhappiness or your lack of success. Total accountability. She's put in the work. And the biggest flex is to be able to say, I ain't got to do nothing. I'm retired military. I'm telling them, like, I ain't got to do nothing. You need to do, I don't need to do nothing. I already did it. She's done it.
Yeah.
She's got the awards, the Grammy considerations, the Grammy nominations, the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, community respect, 24 years. in one of the most dangerous professions in America domestically. It's not, I'm retired vet, so y'all don't trip. I know combat soldiers got it. We.
Oh, yes. Thank you
Okay.
for your service.
But on a day to day, not knowing what the day is going to bring kind of situation, law enforcement to me is, by far the most stressful. And so mad respect to you. And then mad respect that you still had the energy and the inclination to jump in here into this industry knowing full well that it was going to be a struggle and it's a slow cooked meal, but that's what tastes the best.
Exactly.
How do we find you and tell them where to go get the music and follow you on social and anything else that you wanted to cover that I may have neglected?
You can find me everywhere at Monique Nikkole, and that's MoniqueNikkole. That's everywhere. .com or just Google me. All my social media is the same, so I'm very easy to find. New single out now. We are one, and go check it out, download it, stream it. I'd rather you download it, but that's what I have currently going on. I do have a show coming up in Brooklyn on the 13th.
Of December?
Yes.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
tell us
So
about it. Come on now.
mm, y'all gonna
If you
have to.
want to. If you
No,
want.
it's fine. It's the 13th of December. It will be myself and Bowlegged Lewis hosting,
Okay.
and Stevie D and the Force MDs are performing.
All
And
right.
they tapped into your girl to come and do my little single. So I'm gonna be in the house. Um, so make sure y'all come out. Check my social media for the flyer because I'm trying to think off the top of my head what the name of this venue is, and I can't think of it right now.
Woo.
But on the 13th and at Monique Nikkole, the flyer is on my page.
Okay. Yeah, I seldom get the opportunity to tease others about their glitches. I'm gonna get you. I saw that glitch. I saw it in the eyes. Like I'm trying to think of this. Let me see. But she's smooth with it. She's smooth with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, it's all good. It's all good. I'm not the only one who has mental glitches when I'm talking, So I'm just saying, it's not a male or female thing. Just as a life thing when you're busy, and
Oh yeah.
and we can't remember all the small details. So y'all stop feeling insulted and stuff when we can't recall all the. Thank you for my validation. I appreciate you, Monique, because that was something that these people get on my nerves with. How you don't remember? We were just talking about. I'm old, and I'm busy. So
You're not old.
yeah,
But the
well,
busy,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
For some reason, I just can't remember the name of the venue, but that's easy. So if you're on my social media, you'll see it.
To look it up. Monique
Mhm.
Nikkole. She's amazing. Congratulations once again. Salute to you for
Thank you.
what you bring to the fabric of the industry, both, as an artist, but as an entrepreneur as well. Um,
Thank you.
we really appreciate you. So, till next time, Hype Magazine Live Sessions. We're out.
Bye.